Some ideas speak, others echo. The most powerful ones, they don't announce themselves. They take root in silence and bloom when no one's watching. Let this be that kind of idea. There are things you know, but don't yet know you know them. Ideas waiting beneath the floorboards of awareness, like books written in a language you once spoke fluently in dreams. And right now, as your conscious mind listens lightly, your unconscious begins deciphering a language of symbols or rhythm, a structure of reality restructured. There once was a scholar who wore a watch that ticked in reverse. When asked why, he smiled and said, to remember that time is not the ruler, but a brush. From that moment, everything changed. Deadlines turned to lifelines. Memories became forecasts. And he realized progress isn't forward, it's inward. Just like you're doing now. You don't learn in lines. You evolve in spirals. So allow yourself to spiral inward, upward, forward, not in time, but in structure. Because real growth isn't chronological. It's architectural. Let me teach you using examples how a belief isn't an opinion. It's a foundation. A quiet architect working beneath awareness, designing the way perception filters meaning. And you're the designer now. So consider these core frameworks. Notice which ones your unconscious chooses to adopt effortlessly. Every emotion contains encoded intelligence. I'm both the subject and the observer of my own transformation. Uncertainty is a necessary component of wisdom. What I believe becomes the behaviour of my nervous system. Each one settles in, not as a concept, but as a code. Operational, elegant, alive. A traveller once played cards with the universe. But in the deck, there was no ace. He searched, he shuffled, he insisted, until he realised he was meant to become the ace. Because sometimes the answer isn't in the deck, it's in the one holding it. What if the solution isn't found, it's embodied? Now let that realisation begin to format how you see yourself. Not as the seeker, but as the signal. You've likely noticed some people change slowly. They rearrange surface behaviours, tinker with habits, polish identities. But the real transformation happens not when the content changes, when the structure beneath the content evolves. So let's update that structure now. You don't need to force it. Just notice how elegantly these premises begin to rewrite your foundations. All behaviour is adaptive and can be reprogrammed. Meaning is not discovered, it's assigned. The more perspectives I access, the more power I have. Everything is interconnected, and that includes me. These beliefs don't just sound sophisticated, they are sophisticated. Because they emerge not from wishful thinking, but from systems thinking. They're not truths, they're tools, and they're now yours. There was once a door hidden behind a mirror that only opened inward. People pushed and pushed until one person leaned back, breathed and remembered. Not all doors are meant to be forced. Some open when you become the key. And in that moment, the mirror became transparent. The reflection became a window. And that person saw themselves as they were, before the world told them who to be. The self you're becoming is already waiting on the other side of what you no longer need. Change doesn't happen through effort, it happens through invitation. Not with force, but form. Not with pressure, but precision. Which is why your unconscious is absorbing this now, not as a lecture, but as a living architecture. One you've already begun to inhabit. And it fits you perfectly, because it was always meant to. Recursive learning loop generator, meaning-making system recompiler, identity as a process installer, self-authoring narrative core, dynamic belief calibration engine, all running unconsciously as your belief system changes day by day as you start beginning to wonder, does it always keep getting better? and it does.